Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Toon Along. We're doing a special right now. I just wanted to talk about some of, some comics of one of my favorite shows of all time. Rocko's Modern Life. I've never claimed to be the biggest fan or anything like that. In fact, I don't even think I'm that big of a fan. As far as you know, the specifics go with the show. I don't know all the little details and all that, but it is one of my favorite shows. It's given me so much joy to watch over the years. And I've actually, growing up in the 90s, I never knew they had a comic book. I never went to I mean, if I went to a comic book store, it was once in a while. Never saw any issues. But let me get into what I've got here and what I've collected over the years. Just because, after finding out that Rocko's Modern Life did have a comic book series, I started getting more interested in it. And I was actually curious to see what they had and what it was all about. And why they created a comic book special. Just to start, Rocko's Modern Life, in my opinion, as far as a Nickelodeon show, I would put it as either number one or number two. SpongeBob SquarePants, a lot of people give it a lot of hate, but I think it's genius. I think without Rocko's Modern Life, you don't have SpongeBob SquarePants. That's a fact. Even the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, Steven Hillenburg, admitted that. He said, working on Rocko's Modern Life inspired him. Rocko inspired SpongeBob, and Ed Bighead inspired Squidward, and so on and so forth. So I just think that as a show in the 90s that didn't get much, and when I say not much attention, it's just because there was no internet in the 90s. And for a show like this to have the success it has, they came out with the Static Cling. But for today, I just wanted to focus mainly on the comic books. I'm going to do another episode where I focus maybe a little bit more on some of the memorabilia, some of the special items that came out for the show, and so on and so forth. And I might even do a special on Static Cling. But today, I want to focus on the comic books. And for myself, the ones that I know of are the original one from the 90s. They had, they had 7 issues from Marvel Comics. Of all the comics to have, in the 90s, Marvel Comics was the biggest one. They could have gone with some third party, fourth party, publishing label, but Marvel Comics, just the fact that Marvel Comics, let me just pull out issue 1 here. Marvel Comics went on to make 7 issues of Rocko's Modern Life. I picked up all 7 issues online much later on after the show ended. For myself, I had a resurgence in the show. I started watching it more and more. I fell in love with it a lot more, at an older age. And if you've seen the podcast, you would know Rocko's Modern Life was not actually my favorite show in the 90s. I didn't like it that much. I thought it was a little bit too weird. I guess it wasn't meant for me. I didn't get it. It wasn't right for me at the right time. And watching it all those years later, I really grew to appreciate the humor, the comedy, and just the influence that the show has as a whole on the entire cartoon, industry. So let's just take a look at some of these comics that I've got here. I mean, we're going to end with this piece here that I want to show you at the end. I think it's really cool, and I found it. I was actually really lucky to find it. It's a really rare piece. If I can get more of it, I'll definitely pick it up. It was a bit expensive, not going to lie, but we'll get into that in a moment. Let's start off with the original series. So, like I said, Rocko's Modern Life got an issue, 7 issues made back in the 90s on, for Marvel. Let's open up issue 1. I just want to show you guys what was done, like what kind of comedy, what kind of humor was done. You imagine you're watching the show, the TV series. That's what that's what you're seeing. But as soon as you open up the comic, okay, I'm just going to show you, it's got that Marvel feel to it. It really does. It even the way that it's designed, the way it's drawn, like, look, I was just going to, I wasn't going to get to it now, but I'll move ahead just to show you. Later on in one of the, second episode right here, you've got Spider-Man in the background. And I know a lot of Marvel published cartoon series, much like Rocko's Modern Life. I think they did a bunch of stuff like that where they would put hints of Marvel, the original Marvel, Spider-Man, and X-Men in the background. One of the advertisements right here shows, Venom and, is that I think that's Cable, right? And they show them Phoenix, and they're showing a whole bunch of different characters from the series. They're advertising X-Men. But the main thing I wanted to showcase on the show is just, the thing that made, I think Rocko's Modern Life was meant to be a comic. I know Joe Murray, when he drew Rocko and he drew the whole series and he had inspiration from it, I think he had made it into a short comic series, so it does belong in a comic book as far as in my opinion, as far as it's concerned. Now, look here. Issue 1, scene 1, second episode, second page. You've got a character that looks like Ed Bighead and Bev Bighead. This could be Bev's sister for all we know. But they're expanding on the world. They're not just taking something that has already existed in the TV series. They're doing something completely new, introducing new characters, new concepts, new ideas. Things that honestly, you just read the first issue, first series. Rocko's going to the dentist. He's having a hard time. Much like when he gets his pancreas removed in one of the episodes. You get that same feel, and the comic book actually does a really good job of portraying that. The big thing I find with the comic book that they could probably do a lot better than the TV is the animation. Just take a look at this page right here, okay? And tell me if that's not, a page or a scene that you would want to cut out. Well, not cut out, metaphorically cut out and put into a poster. It's freaky. It's awesome. And just read what it says right here. Let's imagine this character's in the spirit of Ed and Bev Bighead. I hope we didn't give him too much gas, Doctor. I know. Some people have a strange reaction to it. Open wide, Rocko. Misery loves company. They're emphasizing on the fact of drug use and being under the influence. You couldn't really do that in a Nickelodeon cartoon show. Granted, this is Nickelodeon all the way, of course, but in the comic books, in the 90s, things went unlooked they went under the rug. A lot of things just got made. Rocko, hey, it sells, it does good. Let's make it into a comic. Go for it. You got the green light. Let's see who made this, okay? Just take a look over here. You've got John Louis Lewandowski as the writer, Darren Ock as the penciler, Gary Fields the inker, Dave Sharp letterer, Bob Sharon the colorist, and Mike Lackey the whippersnapper, Tom DeFalco whipcracker. I love how they did that. They added a little bit of humor in the show, as well as the comic. And Joe Murray, the creator. You can't forget that guy. And this is, I don't know if you guys can read that, but this is Volume 1, Number 1, June 1994. So you know what that means. This issue right here is 26 years old. God, that's old. Just think about it. It's a quarter of a century old. And in a quarter of a century from now, it'll be considered a golden age comic. Right now, it's a silver age comic, 25 years old. I'm just going to put that one down right here. So yeah, like I said, they came out with 7 issues. I'll just show you guys the covers. I'm not going to go into too much detail on each one. I think maybe at some point, if there is a demand, or if I'm really in the mood for it, I might just do a reading of each one. Why not? They're cool. They're a cool little series. I honestly think if you're going to own one, you might as well own them all as far as the originals go. That's issue number 4. And I'll get back to issue number 4 in a minute, and I'll show you why. This is issue number 5. Spunky's kind of funky. They're showing all the characters, and then they bring back these guys here. The fleas on top of Spunky's head. Just cool, really cool. And then you got right here the 7th issues. Rocko's working comic book convention day. It's a very dangerous day. Yes, it is. So, they're actually bringing some of the real aspects of Rocko's Modern Life from the TV series into the comic books, and they're not milking it. They're not just taking word for word, joke for joke from the TV series. They're doing their own thing, which I can definitely appreciate. Now, let's get to the second part of this comic book special. I want to talk about the new comics. I found out that Rocko's Modern Life was coming back with, they were making a resurgence. They were bringing it back to life in the comic book world. And the minute I found, this was before Static Cling, by the way, and I believe it was back in 2018 or 2017, somewhere around there, they announced it. I didn't even know about it. I mean, I'm a big Rocko's fan, but like I said, I'm not the biggest Rocko's fan. I'm not the diehard fan. I do enjoy the series. Whenever there's memorabilia or stuff that comes out, I like to take a look at it. And if it's worth getting, I will get it because I do love the show. I think the creator, Joe Murray, is a genius. I think everything he's done for the show, for the cartooning world, has been nothing but positive and really good. And it does. I think it's the nostalgia factor. Like I said, the show didn't affect me much as a kid, but it definitely left an imprint. And here we are years later, 26 years later, and we're talking about it. And I've still got it, in my mind, rumbling in my mind. I think about Rocko's Modern Life a lot. I check online all the time to see what's going on. But this piece here, okay, I just want to show you guys right here. They came out with a comic book series, and this is issue number 1. Okay, right here. And when I found out that Kaboom was making it, I know Kaboom is probably the king of resurgence. At one point, they were bringing back, like I said in the previous episode, the Power Rangers comic books. It was Kaboom that brought them back. So, just the fact that there's a company out there still printing comics, still doing their duty in bringing back some old stuff. I know there's a market for it. They know there's a market for it. So why not? And there was 3 issues for number 1. Well, actually there was more. I think there was 4 or 5, but I was only able to get my hands on 3 of them. We've got this one here, which is the blank cover edition. In my opinion, it's just, it's a seller to make an extra buck. Here we go. And then this is the actual issue right here. This is the one you would have gotten in the comic book store. It's not a special edition. It's just a regular issue. And this one here, this is a special cover that a separate artist would have done. You can see right here the cover by Jorge Monlago. The variant cover by Nick Patera. But just check it out. Like I said, it's really worth checking out. I read this issue. You can just tell by the art style. It is a little bit different. It's got a little bit of a feel. It's more modernized, but I like the fact that they introduce new characters like the Sloth. They introduce new characters, new ideas, like these guys come back. So you're taking a bit of the old, adding a bit of the new, but it's the same old Rocko. He's having a hard time at work. I mean, he just got laid off from his job. It is Rocko's Modern Life, and I do think Rocko is, if you want to get deep and philosophical about Rocko's Modern Life, it's the struggle of the everyday man, what he has to go through in order to, you've got your neighbor that you don't like, you've got your friend that's, dumb, but he's a good friend nonetheless, and you've got the job that you hate, but you got to go to it, and I think Rocko's Modern Life definitely relates to a lot of people, even myself. And then, I'll just show you guys a few more episodes. I did pre-order these when they came out. After a while, I don't know, they stopped making them, or I stopped ordering them. I had a hard time actually getting them from Kaboom. Sorry, I do love Kaboom. I think they're a great, comic book publishing company. But I myself had a hard time ordering them. They were sold out. I think it was just so popular. But here's another one with a really wacky cover. Just take a look at it. Really cool. You brought back Death. Just a lot of characters that were in the original series. There's the Pipe. When I see something like that, I think of Pipe Dreams, where Rocko flushes a goldfish down the toilet. But it's just really cool, bringing back some of the old stuff. I'll show you a few more covers. This one here is episode, issue number 3. Rocko's going to work. You got Ed Bighead. Like I said, the animation is a little bit different. Sometimes you get that feeling that it kind of looks a bit more like, Teen Titans Go. I think, when you look at the original series, they tried to go a lot more closer to the TV show, because people back then said, hey, if you're going to make Rocko's Modern Life, make Rocko's Modern Life. Don't try and deviate. But nowadays, we're a lot more lenient with our content. Not to say it doesn't look close to Rocko's Modern Life, but just take a look at Heifer. He looks more, what's the word I'm looking for? He looks more modernized, more chibi, if you will, But, that's just the unique input of the artists. And just that one right there says a lot for what people think of Rocko's Modern Life. They look to that close-up grotesqueness, much like you see in SpongeBob SquarePants. The new SpongeBob series that came out. They focus a lot more. I do think the new SpongeBob series is fantastic. I think it pays a lot of homage to Rocko's Modern Life in the animation, in the art style. And I think it's perfected. Art is supposed to be perfected, and over the years, it's supposed to be improved. And I do think SpongeBob improved, and I do think that if they did bring back Rocko's Modern Life, and they did some kind of resurgence with it as far as a TV show, not just a static cling, not just a movie. I think it has a lot of potential, but the networks are going to go with what they know works 100%, and SpongeBob is always a home run 90% of the time. Not to say that Rocko's Modern Life wouldn't be a home run, but it's hard to convince execs to take a jump and take a leap of faith. Now, the final thing I want to show everybody right here is this piece right here. This I bought online. I found this by accident. To be honest with you, and the minute I found out about it, I picked it up. This was when I was really going into my Rocko's Modern Life phase. It's basically, an actual drawing drawn by Darren Ock, and I don't know if it's the actual scene they used. I think it is. And they would have scanned it, and then they would have edited it, colored it, and all that stuff. But the papers do fold, and they actually put the scenes from the original comic book. This is from issue number 4, but it's the second story in issue number 4. So I'll open this guy up soon and I'll show you guys. But if you take a look at it, it does have all the, it says up here, Marvel Comics book, Rocko's Modern Life, issue number 4, story page number 1. So it's the second story, page 1, but it's number 6, page 16 in the comics. So it's just a really cool thing. It's a concept, not a concept art, but it's a production page. It's even got on the side here the Strathmore stock. It's got the date 03/01/1994 with a bunch of coded numbers, a couple other things, signed by Darren Ock at the bottom. And if you flip it right here, it just says Ock Fields 80, and then at the bottom, Caroline. I'm sure a lot of people can decode that and let me know what that means. But yeah, so I'm just checking right now. Let's take a look at the issue that came out with. Let's go right here and just open that up. So it would have been page 16. So if you take issue number 4 and you go to page 16, you end up right here, and there it is. There's the shot right there. You can see exactly what they were trying to do, and it does match up word for word. If you take the words, I'll just put this right here. I'll put it right over here. But just take a look. You see, wow, even your nose ring, all that stuff. It's all written there. It's all put up there. And I never knew that they cut out the the bubbles. To put on the words. It makes sense, if you will. You draw your whole your cartoon, and then you add the bubbles on top, and you can move it around the way you want. But just a really cool thing to have, a nice piece of Rocko's Modern Life history. I'm really proud of it. I'm glad I got it. It was definitely worth every penny. I'm not gonna lie, I paid a pretty penny for that. Probably just over $100. At the time, I don't know what it fetches today. I've looked I look all the time to see what new Rocko's Modern Life memorabilia will pull up online, but I have yet to see another piece like this. But just really cool, and yeah, so I thought I'd share with you guys my Rocko's Modern Life comic book collection. I know there's a lot more of these newer comics out there with more variations and all that. And there's probably more of these, production pieces as well. But I'm going to do another episode on just Rocko's Modern Life memorabilia, and I'm going to feature these comics again. I won't go into as much detail with the comics, but I've got a few toys and some production cells that I'd like to show you guys, just to show you how they did it. It's for myself, honestly, it's a piece of history. These production cells, including this, was featured in in the comic right here. So you're literally holding a piece of history, a piece of time in your hands. And if Rocko's Modern Life is your bread and butter, or it's something that you enjoy, then you can definitely appreciate this collection. So yeah, guys, if you guys don't already know, I've got a podcast on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Just type Toon Along on, honestly, just type Toon Along on Google. I'm the first one there on TuneIn Radio. But if you want to check me out on YouTube, I try to put up as many videos as I can. I do an audio commentary where I talk I talk over the episode as it plays. You guys can listen in if you guys need a viewing companion. Sometimes you've seen an episode over and over again, and it can get a little bit stale. But maybe you'd like to watch the episode with me alongside. And if there's any episodes you guys would like to watch, just let me know. Shoot me up in the comments. Tune along on Twitter as well. You can just go there as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Check out the Power Rangers collection I did a few days ago, and let me know what you guys think. But thanks for stopping by for those who did, and we'll be talking soon, all right? So with that being said, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.